welcome back to the deep dive. So if you're here, you're probably looking for that communication superpower. Having a brilliant idea is, well, it's only half the battle. The real win comes when you can share it so clearly, so compellingly, that it sticks in someone else's mind.
Right.
You want that formula for, unforgettable speaking. So today, we didn't just read a book. We ran the source material through our insight engine. Our target is Carmine Gallo's work, Talk Like TED, The 9 Public Speaking Secrets of the World's Top Minds.
A fantastic source.
It really is. I mean, this is basically the shortcut to understanding how really complex ideas can, become viral movements.
And that's our whole mission here. Gallo's work, it's not really about stage fright or where to put your hands.
No, not at all.
It's about the deep architecture of persuasion. So we're stripping down those 9 core secrets and organizing them by application, so you can use them right away.
Whether you're giving a toast
or leading a massive presentation or even just pitching an idea one-on-one.
Exactly. We've grouped them thematically for this deep dive. We're going to start with what we're calling the foundation. This is all about your internal state, right?
Yep.
Passion and authenticity.
Starting point.
Then we'll move into the delivery toolkit, which is the practical stuff storytelling structure. And finally, we'll hit the impact formula, which is all about making your content, novel and totally memorable. Okay, let's start at the very beginning, because everything, and I mean everything, fails if this first step isn't solid. That's secret number 1. Unleash the master within. And the material is so clear on this, you simply cannot talk about a subject unless you are obsessively passionate about it.
And what's fascinating is the neurobiology behind it. When you're genuinely excited, your brain releases dopamine. But the key thing is that excitement is actually communicated to the audience.
Through mirror neurons, right?
Exactly, through mirror neurons. Your passion doesn't just make the content interesting, it makes the audience feel something. It's contagious. You have to believe in your idea so much that they have no choice but to feel that energy.
But wait a second. If we're talking about this deep passion, unleashing the master within, doesn't it clash with the professional world?
Oh, for sure.
There's this tension between being really authentic and passionate and, maintaining that professional gravitas, especially if your authentic self isn't super polished.
And that difficulty, that's exactly why we need to jump straight to secret number 9. Stay in your lane. It's the perfect counterbalance.
Okay.
Being authentic doesn't mean you show up unprepared. It means you show up as yourself. Gallo found that the top TED speakers weren't all the same. Some were awkward, some were loud, some were quiet.
Right,
They were them. Their confidence came from accepting their quirks, not from being perfect. The insight here is, I think, really profound. If you try to copy someone else's style, say you're a reflective person trying to be some super high-energy keynote speaker, it's just exhausting for you and for the listener.
It reads as fake.
Totally. Real trust is built when you share your unique view, even your imperfections. Think of it less like a performance and more like you're sharing an important discovery with a friend. That vulnerability makes it believable.
I love that framing. It really is the difference between just reciting facts and sharing something personal. Okay, so we've got the inner game locked down, authenticity and passion. Now, how do we structure all that enthusiasm? This moves us into the delivery toolkit, and it starts with secret 2. Master the art of storytelling.
Right. The second you switch from just facts to a narrative, you're moving the information from the analytical part of the brain to the emotional part.
It works.
It really works. We're not just talking about little anecdotes. A good story, a compelling one, it actually bypasses the listener's critical thinking. You draw them into your world, and they become so much more open to the message.
And Gallo points out 3 specific types of stories that work best. First is the personal story, right? Sharing a challenge you overcame. That builds credibility.
Yeah, and relatability.
The second, the story about others using case studies to show your idea in the real world. And third, the company's success story, which is less about selling and more about framing a business problem as, a human struggle that got solved.
And for all 3, the structure has to be simple. A clear beginning, middle, and end. Basically, a problem that your idea solves. And this focus on clarity brings us right to secret number 3. Have a conversation. Once you have the story, the delivery has to feel effortless, not like a lecture. The real challenge is making a super planned presentation sound spontaneous. And that just takes practice. You practice until the material is so deep inside you that you're not worried about the next slide.
You can just talk.
You can just talk. You use simple language, you avoid all that industry jargon that just puts up a wall. The audience should feel like they're part of an exciting chat, not sitting through a class.
Speaking of making things feel effortless, sometimes the best tool for connection is one experts, they kind of shy away from, especially in serious settings. I'm talking about secret number 6, lighten up.
Humor, yeah.
Humor is like an emotional reset button. I actually remember years ago I was giving this presentation on the driest regulatory issue imaginable. And 5 minutes in, I could just see eyes glazing over.
Oh, no.
So I just stopped. And I told this ridiculous story about something my dog did that morning. It was totally unrelated, but it made everyone laugh. And you could feel the room just exhale. That little moment of shared humanity just lowers everyone's guard.
That's the exact mechanism. Humor builds trust, and it builds it fast. When you use self-deprecating humor, you show humility. You show you don't take yourself too seriously, and that makes you instantly more likable.
And it helps people remember things, too.
It does. It improves memory. Just, you have to be careful. Gallo is very clear. Make sure the jokes are universal. The goal is unity, not alienation.
Okay, so building on these delivery techniques, we have to talk about the ultimate form of respect you can show an audience, and that's respect for their time. Which brings us to secret 7. Stick to the 18-minute rule.
The famous one.
The famous one. But why is it exactly 18 minutes?
It's all rooted in cognitive psychology. Research shows that after about, say, 10 to 20 minutes, the brain just kind of checks out.
Cognitive backlog, I think they call it.
That's the term, cognitive backlog. The brain gets so saturated with new information, it just stops processing effectively. 18 minutes is the sweet spot. It maximizes attention, but still gives you enough time for some depth. And if you've got, say, a 90-minute keynote, the rule still applies. You just have to break that 90 minutes into smaller 18-minute chunks, each with a different feel, a different visual, something to reset the clock.
So it forces you to be ruthless with your editing.
Brutally ruthless. It ensures only the most essential information makes the cut. And that makes your final message so much clearer and, honestly, way more powerful.
That focus on brevity is just brilliant. Okay, so you've refined your message, you've perfected your delivery, but none of that matters if the content itself is, forgettable. How do we make sure it sticks?
The final piece of the puzzle.
Which brings us to our final pillar, the impact formula. Let's start with secret 4. Teach me something new.
The human brain is just wired for novelty. Something unexpected grabs our attention. If you're just recycling information the audience already knows, you've completely lost their curiosity.
Right.
The key is that this newness has to be wrapped around one central, easy-to-digest idea. You can't teach 5 new things. You teach one big, paradigm-shifting insight.
And you back it up with data.
You back it up with data, but the data is just the support. Remember the storytelling rule. Data is the backbone, but the story is the body.
And to take that new idea and make it truly unforgettable, we get to secret 5. Deliver jaw-dropping moments. This is where you create those cognitive speed bumps, the moments the audience literally can't forget.
The wow moments.
The wow moments, exactly.
These moments often use emotional contrast or some kind of dramatic visual demonstration. You know those talks where they don't just tell you a shocking statistic, they show it to you?
Like the Bill Gates mosquito release.
Exactly. Or instead of saying, 1 billion people lack clean water, a speaker might bring 5 big buckets of water on stage and then pour 4 of them out, leaving just 1. That visual hits you.
It's visceral.
It's visceral. The principle is multisensory engagement. We remember what we see and experience so much better than what we just hear. You have to design 2 or 3 of these moments into your talk. They anchor the entire message in long-term memory.
And those jaw-dropping moments, they often rely so heavily on visuals. Which leads us perfectly to secret number 8.
Right.
Paint a mental picture. This is all about combining words and visuals effectively.
Right.
And the power of descriptive language. I mean, it's huge. We're not just talking about using adjectives. It's about using language that forces the listener to build an image in their own mind.
Can you give an example?
Sure. You'd say, it's a new machine. You say, it's a machine with a sleek chrome shell and delicate spider-like limbs that can navigate tight corners. Specificity creates the image.
And if you're using slides, which you probably are for those big moments, Gallo is, well, he's unequivocal. Simplicity is everything.
No text-heavy slides.
Never. Text-heavy slides force the audience to choose between reading and listening, and they can't do both well. Retention just plummets. So you use high-impact images, bold colors, and the absolute minimum number of words. The visual has to reinforce the message, not compete with it. So if we boil all this down, this whole methodology to its absolute core, it's really three pillars you need. It starts with an authentic, contagious passion for your idea,
The foundation.
the foundation. Then you connect with the audience through a conversational delivery that's built on simple, structured stories.
The toolkit.
And finally, you make sure it sticks by delivering novel information concisely and memorably, often with those jaw-dropping visual moments.
And these aren't secrets that are just for, huge stadium stages. Gallo's work gives you the tools for better communication in any setting. Anytime you need to move an idea from your head into someone else's heart and mind, these techniques can turn a routine report into an inspiring call to action. So, we'll leave you with one final thought to mull over, and it's built on the two strongest pillars we talked about today. Passion and that 18-minute constraint. If that time limit forces absolute, brutal focus, what is the single most important new piece of information you feel passionately enough about right now to share in that time frame?
Good question.
Find that idea. That's your next deep dive. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.